Sometimes talking with friends feels like role-playing. Sometimes it feels like combat. Join us at the Round Table and Roll Initiative. This is Curmudgeons and Dragons.
Hello, adventurers. Thank you so much for listening to Curmudgeons and Dragons. My name is Jason Portizo. Today, I am joined by Mr. Jim Crocker.
Hey, everybody.
Josey Diaz is still here.
Hiya.
And we are on episode goddamn 100.
We did it, baby. We made it.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Jim joined us, what was that episode, like somewhere in the 60s or 70s?
Yeah, it's like episode 35 or 40 for me, something like that. So.
Okay. I literally don't remember what episode you joined us on.
I've been on for like 35 episodes or thereabouts. I think it was like somewhere in the 60s. Yeah, that I joined.
That sounds all right.
I can't do math.
I could have done the smallest amount of research before I said anything like that, but that's
not necessary. We love flying by the seat of our pants at Curmudgeons and Dragons.
Yeah. And
I'm drunk.
Josey, of course, an OG of this show. So I did reach out to some of the former hosts and contributors. We may have something special to play from Jack if he sent us the video. And if he did send it to us, I'm going to play it right now.
Hello. Haven't seen you guys in a while. For those of you who don't know, my name's Jack. I was one of the original members of Curmudgeons and Dragons. And due to life being, life, it's been a while since I've been on any of the episodes. It's been awesome listening along and seeing how the show's grown. And I'm honored that Jason invited me back to do a little recording for the anniversary show. Normally, I like horror stories, and I like hearing how sessions blow up and how awful things happen to just people. I'm a sociopath, so that's fun. But today, I'm actually going to do a wholesome story. I am going to dive into a story that I haven't told many people. So I think it's kind of fitting for this episode. So in order to loosen the lips a little bit, we'll say, nice little 10:30 a.m. beer. I don't have a problem. Delicious Dr. Brew Littles. We don't sponsor the show. So a wholesome moment that I have in my life with D&D revolves around high school. It's super fun. Everyone was in great shape and had a ton of sex time. Yeah, that's what I got. Same. I had, so much sex with Vergubas in high school. It was a lot of fun. Well, that, and I also played a ton of D&D and was too big to get fit in a locker, so it was kind of nice. A wholesome moment that I have involved my friend Ralph. Ralph, I went to an all-boys Catholic high school. It was pretty cliquey, even though it's all boys, and it was very sports-centric and things like that. And while I did play sports, I usually didn't fit into these sports crowds, we'll say. There was a group of people that we played D&D with pretty regularly, I would say about every other week or so when we could after a club that we met. A lot of us took the train to high school, actually. It was a school in Long Island. And we would meet. We probably had a group of about like 15 people, and about like anywhere between like 8 and 10 would play at a time. Had a couple revolving DMs. Usually it was just stuff out of books, a couple of homebrew stuff where I first started getting into my homebrews and, just kind of exploring my D&D creativity. I remember one particular session where I DM'd and we thought it would be fun to start as level ones. Normally, as some people know, when you start at level 1, it's mostly role playing and things like that. This was one of my first DMing sessions, and I did not know it should be pretty role play heavy. So instead, what I did was started combat very early on, way too quickly. Basically had no gear. There was 4 new players. One of my early DM blunders, we'll call it. And I just remember very vividly, one of the first people I killed was Ralph. His character, and he was just playing this like really cool paladin that he designed and had like this really fleshed out backstory, because this was going to be one of our first sessions that we really dived into and created like huge lore for. But what ended up happening was I over DM'd, I TPK'd, but he was one of the first PCs that I killed. And I just remember the look on his face of this sheer, because we played one shots and one offs that are pre-designed for you to win and have a good time. And now within 25, 30 minutes of what should have been an hour and a half, 2-hour session, he was just dead. Very shortly after that, I realized that I may have overtuned things a little bit. I then just kind of went into chaotic mode and I just started killing characters left and right. And the look on people's faces was just shock and also a good fuck you, Jack, because, this is not fun. I realized afterwards I should apologize, and I did. And we kind of, we moved on. I DM'd a few other sessions, and we always had a good time. But I just remember the look on his face because he had played for a few years before I started, and I don't think he's ever had a character die, especially one that he said he spent hours creating backstory for. So we ended up reusing him in another session, but just that one core memory, which is so important because the facial expression and the time that we had. And then, playing afterwards, and every time someone would get close to death, he would always shoot me this little glance like, yeah, you did this. And even if I wasn't like DMing or just playing with me, he'd be like, this is your fault. You're the reason I'm down. And so that was just always a fun time. And I have a lot of core memories of high school of playing D&D with my friends. And just that's really where it all started. The reason that this story, because I say that and you're like, oh, that's just a normal D&D story. The reason this story is pretty important to me is that around junior year of high school, we lost Ralph. None of us knew this, but Ralph was going through depression and anxiety, and unfortunately couldn't cope with it. And Ralph took his own life, and it hit a lot of us pretty hard, especially the groups of kids that we played with. I mean, you're in high school and you got acne and you think girls are gross. And you don't really know how to process emotions. So it was hard for a lot of people to process what had happened because he was always such a happy kid. You'd hear him laughing in the halls. The high school had what was called cleanup crew. And that was you would get like paid or like get like free lunch and stuff if you helped clean up school afterwards. I know Ralph was part of that. He would always leave like little weird things around for people to see or draw on chalkboards. And he always just seemed like such a happy person that you never would have thought was going through something like that. And then afterwards we realized, and found out how much he was actually going through. And it hurt a lot because things like that happen and you think, what could I have done different? What could I have said? What could we have done? Did we miss something? To start, for anybody that's gone through that, for someone that's afraid they're going through that, it's never blame yourself for that. You do all you can do, and a lot of people don't like talking about that. It's why it's so important that if you are feeling depressed or anxious, like it's seek therapy, seek friendship, seek something that'll help you through that. Be vocal about it. It's super important. And if you've gone through that, it's never your fault. It's you've done all you can do kind of things. Doesn't ever help the feeling. It never really goes away. And you always think about that person. But something that I actually didn't think about later on into life was that when that happened to Ralph, when we lost him, it was always like, you were upset and you were angry and you were all these emotions. But one of the things that helped me get through it, and this is not something I realized till, a couple of years into college when I thought about it, was that it's the happy things that you have to hold on to. And something that got me through the memory of Ralph was remembering that one time that I killed his PC and just seeing the look on his face and knowing that we had awesome times together and there were happy times and there were good times. And even if those little bit moments helped him get a little bit longer in life, that was the important thing. And so the wholesome story, and I guess the takeaway of all of this, is that D&D is a very special thing. Some people view it as just a game, which it partly is, but D&D creates friendships, it creates memories, it creates life between people. And no other game really that I know of can do that. I have some of my core fondest memories and some of my worst memories because of Dungeons and Dragons. And I think if you haven't played it and you just listen to the show, or you have friends that are maybe on the fence about playing it, try it out. It's even if you have a bad time, D&D is still a good time. It's even a bad session still creates stories and memories. You could have one of the worst play sessions of your life, but something you talk about for years to come. And it's an important thing in my life. And I know it's an important thing in a lot of other people's lives. So I want to share that story. I want to, break out a little piece of me so people realize I'm a human and not just some sociopathic robot who drinks at 10:30 in the morning. But that was my fun story. Thank you to Jason and the crew for inviting me back. I had an awesome time when I was on the show. I have an awesome time listening to you guys. I have an awesome time of D&D because of this. And I know people have an awesome time because of you guys. So it's very special to me that you invited me back. I had an awesome time sharing that story with you guys. I'll leave you with 3 things. 1, cheers to D&D. Drink plenty of beer. 2, thanks for Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode and this podcast. It really means a lot that you guys reached out and we finally have that huge sponsorship. And 3, fuck you, Jason.
Great video, Jack, I assume. I like the part where Jack sent us a video.
I do too. We miss you, Jack.
That I definitely knew all about before this recording. And if you didn't send it to us, this will sound hysterical.
Especially if he's slagging us off the whole time. He's like, yeah, these guys are pieces of shit. And be like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so touched you remembered us while you're out there slinging beers.
I never met Jack, but I feel like after that video, it's like we've been friends our whole lives.
I know him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Reached out to Justin too. He didn't answer. So that's kind of how that goes.
He's too busy sponsoring BlueChew.com.
Ugh. So for today's episode, and I was kind of thinking like, okay, well, what do we want to do on the episode 100 spectacular? Because they have to call it a spectacular. So I was somewhere around like episode 87 or so is when I really started doing this. And I don't know why I haven't been doing this from day one, but live and learn. When we put out story episodes, whether they are horror stories, wholesome stories, classic stories, or even the DM Academy stuff, I've been reaching out to the people on Reddit, the OPs, and letting them know that their story ended up on a podcast. Most of them are like, "Hey, cool, thanks." Well, most of them don't respond. A couple just say like, "Neat," and some of them are open to conversation.
Wait, there's more.
I'm so excited.
Follow-up action. Yeah.
A bunch of follow-ups and story continuations from some of the stories that have been on this show. So I've been kind of hanging on to these for a bit. I didn't really know what to do with them. And this is the perfect thing to do for the episode 100 spectacular.
How long ago did you let us in on it? Because time doesn't mean anything to me.
From the time of this recording, I think I told you like a week or two ago.
Okay, that's about where my memory thought it lived. But
yeah, and I've been holding on to these for a little bit. There's not as many as I would like, considering how many we've done. But
there are a few.
I'm reaching out more diligently for new stories. So
and that's
maybe for the episode 200, we'll have a lot more.
And that's something for the listeners to know, which is that we've been talking for several weeks about this format. But neither Josey nor I have heard any of these responses that Jason is about to lay on us. So we're hearing it for the first time along with all of you.
Yeah,
I'm losing my shit. Jason won't even share it on the screen with us.
Nope. Yeah. I'm reading it to you guys blind.
If I don't have.
Josey is literally vibrating right now. Yeah,
I'm just so excited because I know
start reading right now. Josey will explode.
I know what one of them is. I don't know what it says, but I know who one of them is about, and I want to hear the information.
Right. I don't want Josey to explode. So this is a perfect time to let you know about our new sponsor. Just waste as much Josey's time as I can. So our first update comes from user Mang Orion 2. This is from episode 87, and this is the Big Lebowski campaign.
Okay.
So links to all of these are going to be in the show notes. So go back to episode 87, and just a quick TLDR, players said that they wanted to bring their campaign through the entire story arc of the Big Lebowski. And this is the first person to respond to me. So I'm just going to read all these verbatim. Manga Ryan says to me, LMAO, you guys just spent 10 minutes dunking on me. I love it. Definitely going to the podcast. That was super fun. Manga Ryan, if you're still listening, thank you so much for now 2 episodes worth of content. So we owe you that. If you guys want an update, of course we do. It's going really well. So the reason I came up with the idea in the first place is because one of our PCs shares a name with a very gregarious aristocrat in a major city that the party visits often. This has come up a few times, and about 3 months ago, the player in question was asking the aristocrat a question about a recent case of mistaken identity that happened in-game. I ended up making a "Where's the money, Lebowski" joke, and to my surprise, everyone got it and the group made more references. Unknown to the group, each of us is a big fan of the movie. We've been doing the Lebowski quest for a few sessions, and so far it's going really well. I decided that instead of making it a purely one-to-one recreation of the plot, I'd incorporate characters and story elements of the film into a quest that is similar to it, but has more room for the players to breathe in and insert themselves. I didn't want to railroad them, so I decided to give them space to mess around and mix in the movie where I could. If the plots of the quest and the film are parallel, my players will be at the point of visiting Larry Sellers. They have the idea to fuck up his. They have the idea to fuck up his carriage, but they think if they do that, it'll play out like it does in the movie, where the car belongs to Larry's neighbor. That this will not be the case in the quest, though. Instead, the carriage will belong to quote Larry, but destroying it will have far-reaching consequences that one particular player will hate and everyone else will love.
Ooh. I want to play-by-play of this fucking campaign.
Oh yeah. And this was from a little while ago, so like, who knows if they're still playing it. But that seems to be like right along where we suggested that it should go.
Yeah.
Turns out
I'm going to pretend that it's because they took our advice and not because they thought of it on their own.
Yes, exactly.
Thanks for listening.
The way he phrased it in the DM Academy post was a little bit more like, hey, I want them to run through Big Lebowski. How should I do this?
Yes.
And we're just like, don't. But
10 minutes of dunking.
Do something Lebowski flavored as opposed to trying to recreate it. Yeah.
And
it tastes like bowling balls.
Mm-hmm. And this sounds like it ended up great. And the players are having a good time. Next update from the same episode 87. This is from user Charsico. This is the post about spotting subtle spell. If you remember he wanted one. There was a like a champion fight, like a what's it called when
they were trying to show how he was cheating, right?
Yeah, and there was an
arena battle, and one of the sponsors of the fighters was trying to like cheat using subtle spell or something like this, and that was really interesting. We came up with some neat ways to go about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'm probably going to reference that episode myself at some point. But okay, so they came back. Hey, that was a fun listen. Thank you so much for featuring my post and having an interesting discussion regarding it. You're welcome. Interestingly enough, a lot of what you suggested came up.
There we go.
The champions were rather pissed off at their boss interfering with their honorable combat, which is exactly what Jim said.
Yeah, that was that's by far the most interesting way to do that. So I'm really psyched that they picked up on that. Yeah.
Champions were rather pissed off at their boss interfering with their honorable combat, costing the villain some of his greatest champions. And a player used a magic item to detect magic after he noticed that he and another player were being targeted with spells, attempting to drop their concentration. Said player made a wise call not to address the crowd or the villain himself, but his champion, that they all knew was fully into honorable combat, no matter the situation. After addressing the concerns to him, when one of the big bad's own champions turned on him, accusing him of cheating, the entire battle paused. Once again, thank you. We'll listen to your podcast a bit more in the future. I hope you do. When the sorcerer cast a spell, they sensed him flare with magic, as did the player they targeted. They figured he was cheating somehow, but weren't 100% sure how, but called him out and made a convincing argument to the honorable fighter, who flipped out when he learned his fight was being rigged.
That's fantastic.
I can picture this as like a climactic scene in a movie too.
That's
like
so badass.
The way that this plays out, this is incredible. I'm so glad that it worked out.
Yeah. And super glad that called it.
Nailed it.
We had a couple cool ideas on how that could have gone. Again, that was episode 87. Check that one out.
Mm-hmm.
I had ideas of like, I think so many things can be solved with like skill checks and mini games. And I kind of thought something like that could have worked.
You had this interesting idea that like the martial characters are duking it out, like, champion to champion, but whatever, like the bard and the sorcerer are like trying to figure out, or basically kind of, they're almost like having a duel with the cheating patron there. Like it's almost like two separate fights going on as they were trying to figure out how the magic was getting used and stuff like that. That was pretty interesting too. Yeah.
Standard initiative. And while the martial player is like just trying to survive, because from what I understand, the other champion was huge and this was not a winnable fight.
Yeah, pretty badass.
So you're just trying to survive. While on everyone else's initiative, they're trying to figure out who is fucking with the fight.
Yeah.
And there was kind of pulling scenes from the obvious one is Harry Potter when they're trying to find Snake messing with the snitch, and also in one of the Futurama movies where Fry has to have the tinfoil hat because he can read everyone's thoughts. And
it's a good reason to be wearing a tinfoil hat. I don't know. I don't want to know what most of y'all are thinking 90% of the time.
Sure.
Maybe a little and a little bit of Gladiator going on there too, where he like poisons him and stuff like that to try and cheat and stuff. But yeah.
So great update. Thank you, Charsico.
Yeah.
This one goes back a little more. This goes back to episode 85. This is from Flashpoint. This is the supportive wife story. This was a wholesome story episode.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the guy was he was playing games, and then the friend group kind of like either dissolved or he was not feeling it for some reason or another, and his very supportive wife got him back into it. And we love a supportive partner on this show. So pretty short one. Just says, "Well, cool. Thanks for including me. I've been going to my new group for 8 weeks now, and I've been having the best time.
That's so nice.
My wife is happy that I'm having fun, and that makes me happy. You gained a new subscriber. Thanks again."
Awesome. I'm so pleased with that. I love it when everything. I really like, as much as I love a horror story, I do love a happy ending.
Listen, horror stories are kind of our bread and butter on this show, so I really need less supportive wives.
No. I want a couple more so we can talk about them.
Or husbands.
I need more murder hobos. Is what I need.
You've got me, babe.
Let's say partners, less supportive partners.
Yes.
We don't want to we don't want to pigeonhole that.
Which I got before.
Lesbians can play this game too, Jay.
Yeah, I know. Most of my group.
All the cool kids have wives.
But yeah, no.
And if you don't, hit me up, baby. I'm so sorry.
Actually, you know what? I fully backtrack on that. I do need more supportive partners out there because I can find horror stories no problem. So getting more wholesome stories out there would be just great. So if you have a very supportive partner, I would love for you to write about it in a place where I can find it.
I would love more nerdy people gushing about their partners. It is fuel for me. I'll calm down now.
No, you won't.
I won't, but I can try.
Next response is from Tom Snow, and I'm so glad that I was able to track this dude down. So this is from the same, also episode 85. This is the wholesome story episode, and I read the story. It was only a screenshot of a Reddit post, and I thought that this user was like gone, and that's why it was screenshot. I found, I forget even how I found. Actually, I think the Reddit account is still active, but there was nothing posted on it for a while. So I reached out anyway.
So actual detective work here. Yeah,
good job, Jason.
You know what it was, because like the OP of the one that I read is the one that took the screenshot, so I had to like go find like any spells with zeros and stuff, and like
sure.
So I found the actual OP. DM'd them. It was kind of a dead account, but he got back to me anyway.
Nice.
And this was the story of the school D&D group with lots of Spanish-speaking students.
I love that story. That was such a great story. That's awesome.
One girl didn't speak a lot of English. She was playing a high elf, and they skinned it so that
Spanish was elven. Yeah, and so she could. So when she
English was common. Elvish was
cool.
Spanish.
Yes, yeah.
And as a high elf of a royal background, she was forbidden from learning the filthy common language, which
understandable. It is quite filthy. I utilize it in such a way.
So I reached out, and he comes back. The club is still active.
Oh, that's sweet.
I just left the district, but another teacher is taking it over for me.
Oh, that's great.
My new school is open to me starting a club there as well. Once you tell a principal how the game helps kids with basic math skills, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration, it becomes very hard for them to say no. So not only is that club still active, but Tom Snow is out there franchising.
We love to see it. Give us more, baby.
Moved on from that district, went to a new one, trying to start the whole thing up again. But like, I mean, this is like, there's so many D&D clubs at schools. Some of my cousins are high school age, and they have D&D clubs at their school.
we've had people write to us about starting clubs in libraries as well, public libraries. Yeah. So that's another venue for that kind of thing.
So super happy that this one was not only successful.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But like
so cool.
Inclusive in a way that is like not super easy to get around a language barrier, and was able to like not only pull it off, but pull it off in game and in character. Like how hard is that?
It's fantastic.
I would like to fight you on that. Is that I don't really think it's actually that difficult to do. I just think most people are not willing. And finding somebody that is willing to put in that extra effort, even if they don't know that other language, is just a great way to make everybody feel included in a game that's meant to be for everyone.
Let me rephrase that then, because obviously, it just takes a little bit of effort, but like putting in the effort and finding a maybe not difficult, but maybe more not rewarding the difficulty, but rewarding the creativity of it.
Yes,
and finding such a cool way to do it in game.
I'm more about that description of it.
Yeah, and that's a little more the direction that I meant it as. But but
just here to help you clarify, baby.
Thank you. I'm gonna go a little more recent. This is episode 94, which at the time of this recording was just about a week or so ago.
About a week ago.
This is the story of the Civil War.
Oh, nice.
Was that you
curious
guys
about that? Yeah.
Yeah. So Josey, you weren't here for this one. Melissa was on for this one. So the very, very quick TLDR was that there was a warlock player that wanted to kill all the gods, all of them. They all had to go. And then the druid player is like, okay, cool, but like not my god, right?
That was I think that was mine that I brought to the table. I know I read that one. So yeah. I'm super curious about this.
Oh, I'm excited.
So they kind of wrote me a book here. So like,
lay it on me, baby. I love a novel.
So I'll be honest, I skimmed this part.
That's okay.
Read the whole thing.
I'm gonna read the whole thing.
Oh, read the whole thing, Jason.
This is from now they corrected me on how it is pronounced. It is Dietrich. So Dietrich says, just to clarify, the main purpose of the warlock wasn't to kill all the gods from the beginning. The story of my campaign is about a continent being ravaged by a cultist group that is trying to resurrect a primordial demon. Like cultists do. That's part for the quote for cultists.
Cultists are going to.
I think not even in D&D, just cultists in general.
A primordial demon.
Heaven's Gate tried to board a spirit bus.
Find me a second cult. There were 6 people in my campaign. Consists of a monk, barbarian, bard, ranger, and the druid and warlock. So
just so you know, Jason subverted that question because I have a list of cults in my stupid little brain.
You have a list of cults that you're in.
No, but go on. D&D is not a cult. This is a cult following.
So the issue started when the group gained audience with the druid's deity. During the conversation with the druid's deity, the warlock asked why can't the higher being or the gods themselves just take care of the issue? Valid question. And why do they let chaos and evil exist in the world? A bunch of moral related questions. During the conversation,
the warlock said Aquinas would like a word. Like these are
Thomas Aquinas and his gateway fucking
the questions
sin.
that plague us, aren't they? Yeah. Sorry, keep going. It's like
during said conversation, the warlock says that the higher beings and the druid's deity are essentially useless, to which the druid takes offense, and he snaps back at the warlock. From there, an argument ensues regarding morals and stuff, to the point that I had to question them and myself. Were they role-playing, or was it an actual heated discussion about religion?
Yeah.
As the discussion ended, the warlock says that he will leave the group to get rid of all the higher beings in the universe, and in order to assure that humanity has total control over its own fate.
Isn't that the plot of the Golden Compass?
That's not the...
I mean, go on. I don't want to give any spoilers for that.
About bears and stuff.
Yeah.
Totally not an allegory. Which the druid just scoffed
off. I don't want to spoil that 20-year-old YA series that's been made into a TV show.
Yeah, my housemates watch it all the time. That's why I was like, I think I'm familiar with the plot line.
Yeah. Lucian was good, actually.
Yeah.
To which the druid just scoffs it off and tells the warlock he will die trying.
That's a good response, to be fair.
There's like a lot more here.
Yeah.
We got the real update. As the warlock walks away into the frozen tundra, the group stood in silence before the monk slowly walks after the warlock. The ranger then said to the other remaining party members that he'll try to convince the warlock into joining the group back. After that session has ended, the warlock said to me that he thinks my story is completely nonsensical and that I've broken multiple fundamental D&D rules. Okay, boo, we're against the warlock now.
Yeah, what the you could have left it in the game, babe. Every time Jason coughs, it gives me an opportunity to be a snide little bitch.
Yep. To clarify, in my campaign, almost everything is homebrewed. Cool, fine. Jumping back into the campaign, as the warlock's party were walking out of the snowy place, they came across a temple that worshipped a rain goddess. The first thing that warlock did was cast Eldritch Bolt towards one of the rain goddess's statue, destroying it, causing the believers around the temple to promptly attack the group. After they successfully committed genocide, the ranger questioned the monk why he is blindly following the warlock, to which the monk replied that he, the warlock, was the only one that was truly nice to him. The ranger then questioned the warlock on what their end goal is, to which the warlock says to simply set humanity free. After the warlock's party completely finished ravaging the temple, leaving it in crumbles, they set off to destroy more temples. After several temple destroying sessions, and a bunch of ranting from the warlock about how I'm not being fair with his character and whatnot, they come across the druids group. So the party is totally split at this point.
Yeah, that's two separate games that you're running there. Bro,
that's where it gets so interesting. I'm desperate to know.
This sounds like a chore for the DM, but like,
oh my God.
Let me finish here.
I don't want to sound callous, but fuck the DM. I'm in for the plot, baby. I want to know what happens next.
That's kind of been my point this whole time. Is as a story, this is fucking great. As a DM, as a D&D game, this sounds like work.
So wait, just as a question. Yeah. This is a strange question, I think. Okay. But if the DM is basically God for your campaign, does that mean that when all of the other deities are dead, you go after the DM and get very meta about it? Not like physically attack your DM with a knife. I mean, like, your DM becomes a character in the game that you have to defeat, and then that's where it ends, as you've killed your god.
I like meta as much as the next guy. That sounds annoying.
I live for annoying, Jason. That's why I'm asking.
Me, and then from the heavens descends a kind of
a Jason-shaped god.
That's awesome. You just step up onto the table and stand on the battle mat, and and then you're your own mini standing there.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
Totally to scale. That's
yeah, that sounds annoying.
Yeah.
Let me finish this. So let's see, where was I? Blah 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 blah. Not being fair. Yada yada yada. After the carnage, the druid gets angry and asks the warlock what the hell we was thinking. To which the warlock's response was to not be a complete blind sheep, unlike you.
Ooh.
The druid responds to fireball.
That's fair, because that sounds like an atheist incel response to the druid.
The druid responds with fireball. I wish I could do that anytime someone said, anytime anyone uses the word sheep and they're not on a farm. I want to respond with fireball.
Wake up, sheeple.
If you bring a can of hairspray and a lighter around with you, I can say for certain you are bringing a fireball around with you. I don't think the police would be very happy about it, but you could do it.
Aquanet flamethrower,
The group then had a fight against one another. So I put the warlock to go against the druid, the monk to go against the barbarian, the bard and the ranger just sort of sit on the sideline trying to convince both parties to stop.
Eating popcorn while they do it too.
As the battle comes to an end, a heavy storm and giant flood starts to enter the battlefield. During this scene, the druid said to the warlock something along the lines of, "Do you see the consequences of your selfish action? People are dying because of you." After several heated discussions amongst themselves, the warlock decided to kill himself as a way to repent for what he's done and consequently leave the campaign. Sorry to bore you with the minor detail, but that's about it. There's more to it, but I'll end it here.
Those are not minor details.
Minor at all.
It's a book full of pretty major details.
I want a movie of this.
And I told him the story sounds, this
is incredible.
I didn't copy my responses here, but I told him basically like I'm just gonna keep saying what I said on the episode itself. Story wise, this is a great hook. This is a great story. But D&D wise, I mean, like you have two parties going on with two different like. This sounds like a chore for a DM.
This is even a thing that would be awesome if at the beginning, as players, you had a discussion around the table and the warlock said, "Hey, I've got an idea. I'm going to go completely off the fucking deep end, and we're going to play a chunk of the game where I'm crazy and doing all kinds of crazy shit. But it's going to eventually come around to where, I get some kind of an epic ending, and you guys are proven right." How do we all feel about that? But it's going to be like kind of, this kind of like crazy PvP thing for half a dozen sessions or 10 sessions or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds to me
but
just
if you
more
lay all that in advance, that would be awesome. Yeah.
It sounds to me this like kind of accidentally turned into a theological debate that like probably split the players, not the player characters apart.
I think just as much as it splits the players, it's definitely also splitting the player characters, especially the druid is following a deity that the warlock is like, he's got to fucking go. You got to get rid of him. You're like, let's try crossing that bridge when we get there. I'm just going to politely disagree for now. But then, like, if you try to come after my deity, I'm going to turn you into crispy chicken.
That's why I thanked him for this for the update. Said it sounded amazing.
That's fantastic.
Sure thing. Keep up the amazing work, you guys.
No,
you'll surely blow up one day. Yeah, 100 episodes. Let's see if we blow up at some point.
If I blow up a car, do you think that would put us on the map?
Sure.
There's a couple outside right now.
He did say, "Have a good day." Beautiful beard, by the way. Thank you. Thank you, Dietrich. Watching YouTube right now.
Where are the compliments for my beard?
We weren't on that episode.
That's true.
But
I'll allow it then.
If you're watching YouTube right now, I've been sick all week, so I am super unkempt right now.
You still look beautiful. Don't worry.
And then Josey, I have one update left.
Is it the one I've been waiting for?
So I tried going back.
Is it my favorite one?
And some of them were missing links, and we learned a lot as we went. And Jim started taking over writing the show notes ever since he joined the show. So we've been getting actual good links and everything. So if I haven't publicly yet, I know it's privately, but like if I haven't on the show, thank you for doing an amazing job with that. Getting fun links in there, and it's to the point where even I read the show notes now, just so I can see what kind of crazy shit you got to.
Just to confirm that they're done. Yeah.
I read them for fun,
and that the links work, and I don't have to fix them this time. You got your capitalizations right now. You even spelled Josey's name right. We've all come a long way. So if you're not reading the actual show notes, make sure you go read the actual show notes.
Jozie, right? That's the.
It's actually we have there's a thurisaz in it, like the runic letter that makes the noise.
Fantastic.
That's in there.
Yes, it's the glyph that means Josey. That's what.
Yes, the glyph that means Josey is just a pair of glasses with a cheeky little smile underneath. I can't write.
I tried going back to earlier episodes and with some broken links and everything, and some of them don't exist anymore, and yada yada yada. There was one episode in particular, one story in particular, that I went well out of my way to go find the OP for. I had to do some careful searching, found the story,
and the way that Josey is squirming as if she has to go to the bathroom.
I'm just
that is
so
sort of
excited.
That's like that's foreshadowing for what this story is about.
Okay? Let me have this.
Yeah.
I'm so calm.
I got an update from user Ergot of Y, which was from episode 1, story titled "Why We Don't Play with Cody Anymore."
Okay. I'm so calm. I'm so excited.
It's so cool that you guys are going full circle all the way back around your first episode.
We just spend so much time shit talking this guy, pun intended. Okay.
Give me one second here.
It's fine. I need a second to calm down.
compose yourself, please.
There's no composing me. This is me composed, babe. I am not running circles around my building right now.
So I reached out to Ergot of Y, and I have my kind of like canned, like, pre-typed up thing here that I sent out to a few people. Explaining that, we're approaching episode 100. We're looking for updates, and here's a link to your episode. And we had a great time talking about it. And then I followed up with a personal one for this one. I said,
"Yeah, I'm gonna say this feels like it needs the personal touch."
We just won't shut the fuck up about Cody.
I told him the Cody story was one of the first we covered on the show, and is still a running joke.
Yeah.
Of all the stories we want updates for, we need this one.
Mm-hmm.
So he listens to it, enjoys it. And episode 1 was a little fuzzy. We were getting our bearings. We were still. I was learning my way as a podcast producer.
It was the pilot, right?
I was going to say, a lot of podcasts won't even put their first 10 episodes up. It's just like wherever they got streamed originally is where they live.
Listen, it wasn't 100 winners here, okay?
Just 100 episodes.
I think we really found our stride in the past, 20 or so, to where the show's kind of feels a little more well-oiled at this point.
We've fucking done it now, baby.
And let's see, I came on about... Oh, that must just be coincidence.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay.
You can have that one, Jim.
No, we had about you. You've been on for about 30-something episodes.
Yeah,
we had some hit and misses at the beginning when you were acclimating to my bad attitude.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But enough dragging this out.
I'm so excited.
And it's such a short answer too, but
I need it.
He says Cody transferred colleges to go to a school that taught gunsmithing. Then he came back.
What?
Hold on. There's 2 sentences here. Let me just get through this whole thing.
Okay.
I need you to react to the whole thing at once.
Okay.
Cody transferred colleges to go to a school that taught gunsmithing. Then he came back a year later and got a pre-law degree. He's a practicing attorney now.
Do you?
Cody Esquire.
OP, please. Do you still keep in friendly contact with Cody, or did you just hear this through the grapevine that this motherfucker learned how to make guns and then became a lawyer? It's just, I don't know. That feels like a worrying progression to me, but also makes for great TV, baby. Good for Cody. At least he's not shitting his pants anymore.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
I just like to believe that lawyers have a little bit more.
You're making a huge leap there.
You're right. I hope a man armed with a handmade gun no longer shits his pants in out of spite.
It sounds like the people who are shitting their pants on purpose exclusively own handmade guns.
I don't think they give babies well, I don't want to get dark, but a 6-year-old did just shoot his teacher, so I could be wrong.
So the Venn diagram between handmade gun owners and people who are susceptible to shitting their pants on purpose is a circle.
It's almost a circle, but Cody is definitely right in the middle there. Good for you, Cody.
That's the Cody Venn diagram. I love that listen. This whole episode was just an excuse for me to read that update there. But
I love it so much. I'm so happy.
Actually, no, that's not fair to the people who got back to me, because I was actually just really, really happy that they were willing to keep me up on it. Some of them I didn't even ask.
There was honestly, I love the updates. What an about face for Cody Poopy Pants McGee.
It sounds like he kind of got away with it a little bit.
I'm so happy for him.
but some of these posters, all I did was just send them the episode link and said, "Hey, your story was on a podcast. Thank you so much. If you want to hear it, here it is." And then they got
fantastic.
back to me with updates and stuff anyway. And so
it's really cool.
Like, I didn't think of that as an option.
It's good to be heard.
I'm gonna keep reaching out to people as their stories get used, and see if I can keep another running total of these. Maybe we'll read them on another milestone episode.
Yeah.
Or if we get enough before a milestone episode, I'd love to do this again. This is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm not waiting 100 more episodes to get all these fucking updates. Are you kidding me?
Now that we're back down to once a week, no, that's 2 years.
No.
Yeah. Listen, we kind of cheated there with 3 days a week for a while, okay?
God.
Make it one of those week 5 features where we're always like, we've got 5 Wednesdays this month. Yeah. What do we do in that 5th one? I feel like, and we usually get a couple of those a year. So this would be a real good,
perfect.
Maybe something we drop into that.
We don't have to cover all of the crimes I'm committing in Great Britain. for those 5th episodes. Because then
that is going to do it for this one, guys. Congratulations on 100 episodes. Well
we
done.
Did it!
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. On about 15 or 16 episodes, well done, and 100 episodes.
I think we did a little bit better than that.
Total done.
In the can. Yeah.
Listen, for a show that not only doesn't make me money but costs me money, I absolutely love doing this show. I look forward to doing it every single week. I'm the one in our private Discord blowing us up about, hey, are we recording? We're recording. This means a lot to me.
And it's just me on my campus being delightful. Like, have you listened to this episode yet? Have you listened to this episode yet? And they're like, Josey, I hear you on campus 3 days a week. I don't actually need to hear you when I'm home too.
I really work in podcasting for a living. I'm an editor for a couple different places, and like having my own show to come home to that I get to run how I want, and and of course use skills that I'm learning from these other shows. It means a lot to me that we still get to do this and that we're also excited about this. And 100 is like wait, quick pop quiz. Do you guys know what the average is before a podcast fades away?
50.
It's probably more like a dozen, something like that. If even that, I would imagine.
It's 7.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Your average, and this is across everything. So like a lot of them come out with one episode, they just realize, but most of the time, your average hobby level podcaster,
typical, yes,
when they get to episode 7 and they start running out of things to say, they realize, oh, this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know the statistics for how many make it to 100, but 100 is huge.
Yep.
So like, so guys, so thank you so much for that. If you're listening to us for this, thank you so much for being on the ride with us. Curmudgeonsanddragons.com. All of our episodes are on there. All 100 of them.
All of them, baby.
Not all of them are on the YouTube. We did just start doing the video recently. We had a couple video episodes here and there, but that is now something that we're going to be doing for every episode. So if you're not watching us on YouTube already, Curmudgeonsanddragons.com/YouTube is the nice easy link for that.
I can't believe I finally brainwormed you into calling it the YouTube. It worked. I've done my duty.
YouTube.
It is a significant amount of work, but I've got it pretty well streamlined at this point. I think it looks. I'm very happy with how it looks. But yeah, that's enough of an outro. Jim, Josey, and of course Jack, Justin, Greg, and then the guests we've had on here and there, which really just Glenn, Melissa, everybody who's been a part of the show, all the EOPs whose stories that we've been reading for forever now.
Thanks for the content, baby.
Thanks for the free content. And for the 100th time, thank you, adventurers.
We'll catch you next time, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Curmudgeons and Dragons. Please share this with your favorite adventurers. Leave a review on Apple and follow us on social media. All links can be found at curmudgeonsanddragons.com. Practice safe adventuring, my friends.